So as we go into a new week, we are actually on the last point. And actually, I hate to even make this statement, but the fate of the fearful is fearful. The ultimate end of those who live their lives in fear is very fearful. Revelation 21 verse 8, but the fearful and unbelieving, because unbelief is what causes fear. If we really believed that God is who he says he is and will do what he says he will do, if we really, really believed that, then we would not be fearful. So they're put together. But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable, listen to what it is put in the category with. The abominable and the murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. You might say to me, well, Mike, are you saying that if I have a fear of heights or a fear of bugs or a fear that I'm going to hell? No, don't misinterpret what it is saying. But when you live your life in fear, again, what does fear do? Fear causes us to be unfruitful in our work for the kingdom. And when you do that, you're just as bad as an unbeliever or a murderer or a whoremonger. Those who are fearful and unbelieving will lose out on the reward because they fail to trust God. Being fearful is a slap in the face of God's promises. Fear again caused the servant with 1 talent to bury that 1 talent instead of using it. Notice, you may not like that, but notice that he didn't just lose the talent that he buried in fear. He was cast into outer darkness because he buried the talent in fear. When God gives us something to be used, he intends on us using it. And it's time for us to get past the fear. I don't know if the servant actually saw the other 2 servants that was making increase. He lived in the same kingdom. I think it's likely that he may have seen the other servants succeeding. But he said, I'm afraid. And so he buried the talent that God had given him. We will become unfruitful for God and thus lose. This puts being fearful into a sin-sick category. So it is not a nothing. It is important that we do not live our lives in fear. Again, not talking about the irrational fears, but talking about what sometimes those irrational fears can cause to happen. We can become ineffective, useless fruit that God just casts away and says, you have no benefit to my kingdom.